So I had a couple people ask me how I take notes verbally for books that I'm reading. So I wanted to kind of demonstrate how I do it. So on the left here, I have a um, Kindle Paperwhite, and on the right, I have an Android phone. I think it's the Pixel 2 XL. Not that it matters, but the whole point is I have a Google Doc open. I have the Google Docs app on the phone. And the keyboard has a voice to type feature. So essentially what I'll do is say I'm on chapter 7 here. I'll demonstrate exactly what I'm going to do. So here we go. Chapter 7, comma, the three sources of capital, comma, how to get money and effort to play nicely. And you'll notice I stopped there and I use commas instead of colons, and um, essentially I come up here now as I'll click on this first sentence. I want that to be a heading because Google Docs can create a whole table of contents with links for me after I'm done. So I'm going to click on this button here and make that into a heading 1. You can see it gets bigger, but the heading 1 indication, again, later when I'm done doing all these notes, that heading will show up in a automatically generated link table of contents at the beginning of the document. So when I go back to refer to these notes, I can jump to those headings and any subheadings I create. So now, as I'm reading this book over here, I'll kind of read the paragraph, and if there's something that I see is interesting to me, I will make note of it by reading either what exactly I see, or maybe I'll read a comment, and I'll show you how that works. So I usually use a whole bunch of bullet points here. Makes it easier to continue. And after I'm done with each phrase that I say, I just hit enter. So here we go. I don't know what's important in this because I'm not really going to determine that right this second, but I'm just going to demonstrate how that would work. So here we go. Actually, let me do the bullets. The capital in your business is used for purchasing assets, comma, such as inventory and equipment, comma, it allows you to have the proper amount of cash on hand to meet your core capital budget. Okay, so I read word for word what was in the book there at the end of the first paragraph, and it typed it without reading and double checking it. It's probably mostly right. I would normally go back and edit this to make sure it looks pretty good. And then if I had a thought on that, I would indent the bullet by clicking this. So it's a sub-bullet of what I just read. And I'll go ahead and just say something to make a thought. So I'll say, personal note, comma, I think this is important because of blah, blah, blah. Okay. So there I have a sub-bullet that relates to what I just read with some additional thought that I have at the moment that I read it. And then I'll hit enter again. I'll hit this button right here to go back one level. So you could see the little arrow points to the left and to the right there. And then I can continue reading the book and taking the notes. So I'm never really typing anything other than maybe fixing some content here or there that that Google fixes for me, but or that doesn't write it correctly. So then I'll go back and fix it. But this allows me to quickly go through the book and voice dictate my notes into a Google Doc. And let's say I come to a subheading or something, and so if I come here through the book, there's going to be a subheading. So here, see, it says source 1, use your own money. So I'm going to say source number 1, comma, use your own money. Oh, number 1, comma, use your own money. All right, so you'll see I didn't have a bullet on that, but then I'll come back over here, go to headings, make this a style, heading 2. All right, so that's a subheading of heading 1. Again, that'll be in the auto-generated table of contents that I'll create later. And then I just come back to making bullets. So this guy is saying something, and then yeah, I just make another note like this. If you start a business with your own money, comma, you're going to defend it to the greatest degree. Okay, so again, I don't know if these are good notes to take on this book, this section, but I just want to demonstrate again how I go through and take those verbal notes. So I'm able to quickly go through reading a book on the Paperwhite, have the second device here to take all my notes, and then at the end I use the auto-generate table of contents feature, which will populate a list of links with the heading name. So that's the heading 1 and the subheading underneath it, which it'll create. And I wonder if I can do that in here. I know how to do it on the computer, which I can access this from, but I don't know if I can see. Insert. I don't think table is going to do it. No. But I know on the computer there's a insert table of contents option, and then that'll generate the whole table of contents for me, which is pretty cool. Then I can go back and I can use it on the phone and just reference my notes, all my thoughts, all the things I read. Everything's super organized, and I can just buzz through the book I read, but only the parts that I feel is important. I hope that helps.